I've asked you over the years to support the people who support us. Amin and Charlotte are doing oddball every day, supporting us, except for Mondays, oddly enough. So you will get them on the DraftKings Network, on Samsung TV Plus, Roku, a side dish of Roku. You can get them where you get our stuff as well. Amin is here, and I want to ask him about something that Marcellus Wiley said. But before I do that, I want to ask him about something DeMar DeRozan said. DeMar DeRozan is like a 30% or a 29% shooter from three. And for a while now, people have been asking him, hey, if you can expand your game, you don't have to be the king of the mid-range. The sport has evolved beyond the mid-range. It's an inefficient shot. And his response was, quote, I don't have to do anything. 38 people score more than me in NBA history.
He's got a point. That's a strong point.
Well, he's got a lot of points.
Oh.
But to know the number exactly, 38 people have scored more than me in NBA history. One of them who's ahead of you is Steph Curry, who scores from three, and you're competing against him for championships. And when you are the primary player or the second player on a team, it is very hard for you to win championships, at least in part, because if you have DeMar DeRozan, he's going to score a ton. No one will dispute that he is a good scorer, but his range is limited in a game where range seems to be limitless.
Yeah, I don't think that's his fault. I think DeMar DeRozan is incredibly impactful in where he scores, and he's efficient at an inefficient shot. The shot isn't inefficient. What makes it inefficient is that not a lot of people are good at it, and for the same amount of quote-unquote risk in terms of your likelihood of making it versus taking a step back or two steps back and shooting a three, the payoff is lower. But if you are good at it, then there's not an issue. Again, I always like to go back to three-point shooting is most important to me for role players, because the idea is if I'm standing on the floor, I want the guy guarding me not to feel comfortable sagging and helping on the star player. Well, DeMar DeRozan, I think, through his career has proven to be a star player. At some point, he's going to evolve and he's going to become a role player to someone else. And then it's like, DeMar, I'm going to need you to space out. But at this stage of his career where he is, like he says in the quote, only 38 people scored more points than I am, and I think he's still very, very effective in that way. His need to shoot threes is diminished compared to that of a role player, I would say.
The land of the three has a lot of people coming for that throne, okay? The mid-range kingdom is very sparse. He can dominate this land. He owns this land. No one is coming for this throne. There are a lot of people coming for the three-point throne.
Well, we have talked before. The king of the
I almost did the whole thing without slipping.
Nah, that was
almost
good, man.
The king of the mid-range game is an insult at this.
It's a sad kingdom.
In today's basket, yes, I am the king. I wake up
It's like
in the
for
morning.
role models. They're out at a park.
That's what I was thinking of.
I wake up in the morning.
LARPing.
I put on my cloak of sadness, and I am the king of mid-range sadness. I was surprised to hear Marcellus Wiley has always been somebody, when he was a player, when he was a broadcaster, he's always been somebody that I've enjoyed listening to. You rarely hear, I haven't heard anyone else say what he said about the breakup of Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. Stephen A. has been making the rounds for a couple of years now saying, yeah, I forced Max off the show. I didn't want to do the show with him. It's not personal. He's a nice man, but I don't want to do the show with somebody who wants to do a nuanced show. I want to do argument television, and that's not what Max Kellerman wanted to do. And Marcellus Wiley said the following, and I just have not heard a lot of people saying this.
I know Max. I know Stephen A. Stephen A wanted Max for very specific reasons. Now, I'm going to say these reasons, and everybody's going to have a reaction. He wanted Max first because he was white. He wanted Max second because he was intelligent. He wanted Max third because Max can speak on all things. But I don't think he paid enough attention because he got slapped in the face with who Max really is. And then y'all saw the awkwardness that ensued because Max all of a sudden couldn't be who Max really was. Let me take you through it. Stephen A's first take, the show wanted Max to speak for white America. And especially when you lose Skip Bayless, you get Max. Now, it's not just Max speak for white America, but that would allow Stephen A, brother, get to speak for black America. Now, here's the problem. Stephen A, the entertainer, had to meet Max Kellerman, the educator. And boy, that was a class that had a different lesson plan. Stephen A realized quickly that he was dealing with a whole different animal, especially on black issues, especially on societal issues. He started to realize he was getting outshined in those conversations. Outshined for these reasons, and I know these reasons, because Max Kellerman is not only a historian, he has a degree in history from Columbia University, same school I went to, Ivy League school, but the dude is a bona fide genius. Like, he is next level brainiac, for real. High school test scores off the charts. Like, next level dude. I'm just giving it to you like it is. And Stephen A. Smith has admitted many a times how he had his own learning disabilities and issues growing up. So that is, no matter how much he has advanced past that, and you can see the immense vocabulary, etc., and his intelligence on display, it's an insecurity for Stephen A. because he speaks on it as how that was an insecurity. That's fine. But now we got a problem because you got Max Kellerman in there who's supposed to go with the flow on these conversations or defer.
He also said, because we're only playing a clip of that for you, that Stephen A. was threatened by Max in this regard. And there was the awkwardness on television of Terrell Owens just one time saying, and Stephen A. and Terrell are still going back and forth on it publicly, Max is blacker than you, or some form of that.
Yeah. And so first of all, I know Marcellus, I know Max. I work with both of them. Obviously, I know Stephen A., but not as well. I work with Marcellus and Max a lot when they were on Sports Nation. And what Marcellus is saying, first of all, is true. Max is a certifiable genius, not just like, oh, he's really smart, like Mensa, testing, all that stuff, right? But beyond that, he's right in that what Stephen A. was looking for was a foil, someone to intelligently argue the other side, but the other side being, I need a white guy to argue against me and has to have like intelligent enough argument to keep up with me. The problem is he got the wrong white guy because he wanted someone, I think, in the vein of Skip Bayless, of what's my man that used to...
Nick Wright?
Not Nick Wright. The guy that used to... Oh, man, now I'm drawing a blank.
Give me something so I can help you.
The guy you said, oh, he's not actually that bad of a guy once you get to know him.
Oh, Will Kane?
Will Kane.
I was wrong. I feel like you
I
set
heard
me
that
up
one
on
too
that.
from you, Mike.
He did that to
You
you
set
on
me up
purpose.
on that.
He
Got
did that.
him.
He led you right to that. The guy that you once said isn't that bad a guy, and you were totally wrong
I
about.
thought twice to just jump in like that in the name of efficiency. I have since apologized numerous times.
I also need to apologize right now, accidentally trying to bail Amin out to Nick Wright.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, Dan.
I think Nick Wright is in the same ilk as Max in that regard, right? In that maybe not.
No, Nick's an alien.
No, but
Because Nick also combines the Stephen A. element to it. Nick's very bright, watches everything, super knowledgeable.
and is
but
excellent on race issues.
did you know that?
But he's not the Skip Bayless.
But yeah, that's what I'm
no,
saying.
no, he actually has better ratings than Skip.
Dum-dum. But like, I guess what I'm saying is they all fall in this ilk of like, hey, you want a white guy to come counter me, but actually we're the white people who are your allies on this stuff. But in the case of Max, I can articulate it better than you can, and I think that was a friction point.
I wonder here, as this landscape changes, and Stephen A. is going to win. He's going to beat Skip. He's got the resources. He's got the backing. And that show has become his. And he's doing with it everything that he wants to do with it, objecting to me saying that argument television keeps making everything a little bit dumber. But to me, the broadest appeal to have is just, what are you shaking your head about, Mike?
What Amin did to me is so messed up.
He played you perfectly. You thought he was a bumbling fool. This is how Columbo did it. Jessica's beloved Columbo.
Did you just hit me with just one more thing?
He really got you there, but he put
I'll never be able to escape it, even though I've apologized profusely. Why are we doing this? God damn you, Amin.
Legend of the Drunken Master.
While we were talking about Max Kellerman, the thing that flashed in my head was the video that he made, a music video a long time ago, a rap video that Max Kellerman made. You have to understand, this guy was on cable access television in New York doing boxing reports, I think when he was like 14 years old. Mm-hmm. He was a prodigy, and at that time, he also made a rap video, or around that time. Let's play that video here so that people can see it and also hear it.
New York's a state, my city's in. A man who I hate, I pity him like a Branch Davidian. Got skills, got stamina, got hands of stone like the champ from Panama. Bodies drop for body shots, cause I could box. No need for clocks or karate chops. And if you wanna see who the best be, come and test me, come and test me, come and test me. Got stardom, clock gets stuck from the top to the big bull yard in the South Bronx. My flavor's good, my flavor's good. Here, city, you're nothing but my neighborhood. New York, so nice, got named twice, and I'm harassing punks like Mike Tyson. And I'll break a novice worse than Pernell Whitaker. Snuff Chavez. Display skills like a museum so you can see him. And rappers go fleeing, though my skin is European. Hit your man with a hook in the head, don't even jab it. And beat you with just my left hand like Jim Abbott. It gets scarier and scarier. Got props on every block of the Triborough area. King of my concrete jungle, rumble, young man, rumble.
So not Will Kane. Not Skip Bayless.
You had a joke when I was talking to you about this earlier.
It wasn't a joke. It was not a joke. It was like when Skipper hired Jason Whitlock to run a black website.
Oh God, no.
I wasn't joking. That's what happened.
It's like someone say, yeah, exactly. Like, I need the black perspective. Get me Jason Whitlock. It's the same thing. Like, I need like traditional middle American white values. Get me Max Kellerman.
An error in calculation, which might be the way to intro this segment. We are doing Thursday Thunder, and we're not only doing Thursday Thunder, though. Charlotte Wilder of Oddball, you can check it out every day except Monday with Amin Elhassan here on the DraftKings Network. Charlotte Wilder is now out in the street, where I told her, Charlotte, I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable in any way. We'll do this however it is you want to do it so you're not too uncomfortable. And then I heard John Reed, head of video, say, she's running 50 yards, Dan. 50 yards on asphalt with a helmet on. She said earlier in the show it's difficult to run with a helmet on. We are about to find out together. Charlotte, you're across the street. You are stretching. Are you ready? Are you ready to go and be a part of Thursday Thunder? Yes or no?
Thumbs up. She is ready to go, Dan.
Okay,
I think she's going to run towards the microphone.
Okay,
I think that's the bit.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. We're working all the kinks out on air.
She just ran. There she is. With the mic.
Okay, we haven't given all the other...
Thanks for talking about Max Kellerman first.
All right. We haven't given all the other Thursday Thunder picks yet. So what I'm going to have to ask you to do, unfortunately, is it was a great practice run, but we're going to get into Thursday Thunder. Jeremy's going to quickly deliver the first three legs, and then you run to the microphone and you deliver the fourth leg.
We got the timing on this wrong. So go ahead, Charlotte. I'm sorry.
No, I just thought it's perfect. I love it. Let's rock and roll.
All right. Thank you, Charlotte. Excellent timing in every regard. We've got a little bit of a lag. Go back 50 yards, and we will do that again. We have been so not good at the three-way parlays that we have now decided to do a four-way parlay.
To be fair to us in regards to Charlotte, we never said go. We said, are you ready to go? And then she started running. So
that's correct.
Well, Dan kind of threw a question to her, and she's like, I don't have a mic. I better run towards it.
Yes, that's my fault. It's fine. We'll figure out the kinks, and maybe she will have to run 2 or 3 times until we get this right. Where are we going first for the first leg of the 4-team parlay?
We have a 4-leg parlay, but it's all tonight on Thursday Night Football as the San Francisco 49ers are a 10.5-point favorite over the Giants. The first leg is taking the 49ers on the money line.
I mean, why are we such cowards about this? We take giant favorites on the money line. The second leg of the parlay is
Definitely not cowardly. Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown.
all right. So
Really going out on a limb.
Yeah, no.
That's why, guys, it's a four-teamer. All right? They're hard to win. You want a couple of layups.
All right.
Yeah, geez.
Number 3, and again, the big punctuation on this is Charlotte's going to sprint to a microphone from 50 yards away, and she's going to give us the fourth leg of this parlay.
George Kittle, 1 catch.
I do recall us saying we were going to get through this quickly.
This is the third leg of the parlay is George Kittle's going to go on the
Stop
field.
confusing people. No, stop.
and
You're-
His name is going to be, it's going to say Kittle on the back of his uniform.
Come-
I'll take that bet.
That is not a bet. Jeremy, third leg.
The bet is Deebo Samuel over 72.5 total yards, rushing and receiving.
Get a little more challenging, isn't it? Got to get them all.
And now we are going, well, that's where we usually get it wrong and then lose the bet.
Kyle Shanahan will call a play.
You guys, there are legalities surrounding this. You are not helping our wonderful partners over at DraftKings that are bringing to you this entire segment. Use code Dan when you sign up on the app for a limited time offer for new customers.
Let us pan back now, 50 yards back, and we were going to get Charlotte Wilder of
There's a
Oddball.
car coming.
Be careful, avoid the car. Charlotte, you run at your speed, please, and then give us the fourth leg of this parlay when you get to the microphone.
It's like she's running blind.
She's holding the face mask.
Good running.
Well, first of all, the helmet doesn't fit. I have a T-shirt stuffed into the helmet, which is sliding down my head. The fourth leg of our Thursday Thunder parlay is Paris Campbell for over 2.5 catches.
Excellent work, Charlotte. Thank you for joining Meadowlark Media.
Quickly sprint back up here to finish out the segment. We got 5 minutes
Thank you.
left.
I love it here.
I'd actually like to do the rest of the show with her out
Please
there.
stop it, Dan. You've done enough.
No,
It's never enough for you.
For the love of God.
Thank you, Charlotte. I appreciate all of your efforts. I mean, how is Oddball going? Because you're rubbing at your face right now in a way that seems pained. And I just want to know if you have topics, enough basketball topics every day to cover. I know Mike Ryan wants to talk about Damian Lillard, and I know Mike Ryan wants to talk about how overtly Chauncey Billups, the coach of the Portland Trailblazers, tampered by recruiting and flirting.
This is a scandal of our time.
With
How dare the Portland Trailblazers openly tamper with our Hall of Fame point guard? This was egregious. It was caught by cameras on ESPN, the network that is known for pushing the Blazers propaganda. At the Colorado game, Billups was caught on camera, head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, BT Dubs, sitting next to Kyle Lowry. Starting point guard for the Miami Heat, probably not starter anymore, just starter on reputation, future Hall of Famer Kyle Lowry, Miami Heat member. That's tampering, folks. They put him on the camera once, and no one made any mention of it. Curious decision out of ESPN. Second time Billups realized he was on camera, committing a felony in the eyes of many. Got up, got out of the camera shot, tried to protect what he was trying to do, the secrecy of his tampering. This is awful. This is one of the worst, egregious instances of tampering I have ever seen, and the NBA needs to come down hard on the Portland Trailblazers.
You are hyperbolic. I don't know. I mean, are you tired of the Lillard stuff? There has been incremental, I'm going to put news in quote marks because there hasn't been any movement on this. The Miami Heat is not changing its offer. We keep hearing it's not enough of an offer, but they don't have a better offer, clearly. And lately, what you've been getting out of nowhere is this mild leakage of, and the Bulls and the Raptors might also be interested, but not interested enough to make a better offer. And also Damian Lillard doesn't want to be there. And unless we're going to make Damian Lillard the crossroads on star player doesn't get what he wants, and he may be, I don't know, but I've seen precious little proof that he's going to be the place where the player loses the power. There has not been a better offer made, and even if a better offer were made, Lillard has made it clear he's not going there and would ask for a trade from that place as well.
Right.
The Miami Heat, I will tell you, and this is the only updated information I have on this, they know this is a depreciating asset, which every day that goes by, it's an expensive contract for an older player, and they're insistent on our offer is our offer. It is not changing. They won't get better.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one place where Portland can search for wiggle room from Miami is, can you keep your offer the same but just find someone else to take parts of that and get some more parts from other places to give to us? And I think that's a reasonable ask if you're the Portland Trailblazers. If you feel like, look, Tyler Hero represents a glut at guard for them, along with Simons and Sharp and Scoot Henderson, and we just don't need another guy.
All of that is true, incidentally.
Right.
All of everybody who says Portland doesn't need that, they're not wrong.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So the idea is, can you find a trade partner? And that's why I said from the very beginning.
May I put my hand up and say, when has that ever been a thing for a rebuilding team? When has that ever been a talking point? Oh, no, they have too much talent here.
But they kind of do, because.
But it's never been a talking point ever whenever teams do this. You want to stack assets.
Stacking assets is one thing, but you have to be cognizant of allowing those assets the ability to prove or increase their value. Otherwise, what you get is you're devaluing everybody because there's not enough opportunity to go around. Now, I just think that this was always going to be a complicated multi-team, 3+ team deal. And that's what we're looking at. But you're right. The Miami Heat are like, look, every day that passes is a day on our side, not yours, because you're finding less and less to get from it.
Meanwhile, the more attractive pieces that Portland Trailblazer fans hope the Miami Heat would throw into a package have just increased their value over the summer with their performances.
What's coming next, though? You guys do understand this, right? I'm already reading about the Knicks being interested in Giannis. So, this is about to get Giannis and Embiid entering the fray here will make Lillard seem like one of the smaller planets in this universe.
Which would also help explain why there aren't going to be better offers out there. As Zach Lowe mentioned on ESPN, teams want to keep their powder dry now.
Let me just say right now, this whole Knicks Giannis thing, I went off on Oddball. You want to catch that at 5:30 Eastern when it posts today.
But not on Mondays.
No.
She just walked in.
Good job, Charlotte.
Way to go, Charlotte. Way to go, Charlotte.
Thank you so much. Everybody, please watch Oddball 4 days a week on the DraftKings Network. Thanks.
Who are you talking to? What are you talking about?
Oh, we're going.
Acceptance speech.
We're going. This
Are
is
we
now
recording?
Canon. Yeah,
No.
no, this is now canon. Anytime you do anything of note.
Is that all
Is
we
that-
can afford to play
Yes.
from that song?
It's memorable enough. It's all we need. Charlotte, there are.
I think I have this part too.
No, I think you're kind of pushing it.
I like part two, though. Charlotte, which do you prefer as your intro music? Do you prefer the first part of Wild Thing or the second part of Wild Thing?
Ooh, that guitar riff's kind of
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
I want to get to.
Slaying some guitar back here. Don't mind me.
I want to get to some Kelsey-related things because the Kelseys really are dominating the sports podcast space. They've gotten up and running in a way that has been impressive to see. I don't know if it started with the Super Bowl, but brothers playing against each other in the Super Bowl has allowed them to mushroom cloud into now they're in Taylor Swift pop culture category, and I want to get to some of that. There's a documentary that's just called Kelsey. Amazon Prime is just doing Kelsey as a documentary.
I believe it's her most popular documentary, and I'm not there yet, but I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm actively rooting for just one goddamn thing to go wrong for these guys.
Wow, you are just becoming a hater,
Just jealous.
man.
No, it's just like this is more a testament to their greatness and how captivating and charismatic and great they are on the field, because you can argue Kelsey's the greatest tight end of all time, And you can argue Jason Kelce's one of the best centers of all time, manning one of the best offensive lines of the modern era. They just wade into the podcast waters where other athletes with even more fame have waded in and not had the instantaneous success. They decide, oh, we're going to start filming this documentary, and they're both going to make the Super Bowl during it. And now, just as a plus, he's going to start dating, the tight end's going to start dating one of the most famous people on the planet.
Well, I think they got very lucky, obviously, with all of those things happening, but I also think there's very shrewd PR going on here. I mean, I saw a report that said Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce have been on 2 dates and they're texting, which would be, like, that's an absurd thing to call, like, being together if it were anybody not super famous.
Bobert would like a word.
Wow. All right.
Ah, what a great drop.
Don't give that to her. No, that's mine.
I think her companion gave it to her.
But I do think that the Kelseys are like they're doing an unbelievable job of holding on to people's attention. Like they are still doing this after the Super Bowl. How many months has it been? Not 10 months? Like, and people are still super invested, and their moms in commercials with them. And I just think it's very impressive that they've actually been able to ride that wave in a way that most people haven't been. And attaching yourself to Taylor Swift in any way, even saying Taylor didn't want to go on a date with you, very, very smart.
You guys also need to understand that it is really, really rare in that sport where they wear masks and only 7 guys get the commercials, all of whom play the same position, for a tight end and an offensive lineman to traverse this particular degree of difficulty on fame and clout chasing.
Another tight end at that, considering Gronkowski. But with Travis Kelce, like, his ability to link himself to Taylor Swift grows his fame in a way that he could never achieve, no matter how much success at the NFL level as a tight end. In all the commercials, it doesn't matter. I imagine he, a month ago, was talking about wanting to go to Taylor Swift's concert and making a friendship bracelet and all of that. And he enters this Taylor Swift sphere. I got to imagine their podcast numbers just skyrocketed after just linking himself. Now, if you're actually dating in any capacity, even if it's just a couple of days.
Jeremy, they did.
They have not just passed everyone in sports. They've passed everyone. Everyone in potting they've passed. There's like only one is ahead of them. And of course, it has to be something with murder because we're obsessed by murderous things.
When I was talking just then, Mike was playing my song after every point I made. Are you gonna? Okay. And it says something about like the chaos that I am used to. I didn't even register it. I saw like Amin laughing about something, and I was like, "Were you laughing about that?"
I was laughing at Chris doing the air guitar, but he looks like he's being electrocuted.
I really tuned it out. It wasn't until he told me he was playing it after every point that I was like, "Oh my God, my brain is broken."
Yes, Chris Cote doing the air guitar.
Just shredding some tar.
No, it looks like you're being tased is what it does look like. Chris Cote walked into a restaurant.
Do they call it tar?
No.
Definitely not.
They call it git.
No one calls it git, and no one calls it tar.
You can get out and go into the penalty box for that.
Yeah, you can get out. Chris Cote says to me today, and I'm dying to hear what this is, that he has a macaroni and cheese dilemma of some sort.
It's a biggie, Dano. So I went to a restaurant the other day, and I ordered a meal with 2 sides, like I do. And so, I'm sorry, I got to catch my breath here. A lot of guitar slang.
From the git?
Give me a
From
second.
playing the git? You're winded. Wait a minute.
Wait. I just sprinted in the Miami Heat.
I've been slaying for like 10 minutes back here.
Well, you know what? Hold on. Do me a favor.
Wait. In fairness, that is a full
Do I have to
body
slay
workout.
for 50
That's
yards
a
now or
full-body
something?
workout.
Let's stop for a second because I didn't quite get what I wanted in the payoff from Charlotte more than her, fiddling with the helmet. I wanted the quality payoff of winded commentary. I'll get back to you in a second, Chris, after you have played a full consecutive minute of air guitar. Now, I will come back to you to get your winded mac and cheese dilemma. I don't want you to catch your breath. I want it maximum winded. Can I get that? All right, so you play 1 minute of that, please, and I will talk about something else for a minute, and then we will come back to your mac and cheese dilemma. 1 full minute of air guitar from you, and then we will find out how that sounds. I wanted to ask Charlotte, as someone who worked at Sports Illustrated and has seen the deterioration of that brand in a way that has been painful. I had a couple of friends who were in on a meeting not that long ago when Sports Illustrated was being pitched as a product to be sold, and one of my friends who was in a decision-making capacity walked out of the room and said, that person thinks the Sports Illustrated brand is worth $100 million. The Sports Illustrated brand is worth $0. And the Sports Illustrated brand now, after selling vitamins and not really doing magazines anymore and cheapening in a way that makes me sad when I see Sports Illustrated now, Sports Illustrated is opening a bunch of sports-themed resorts in college towns, a full-service hotel, a vacation club. This is a different brand that Sports Illustrated is trying to market now. Does that have a future? The sports-themed resorts in college towns, branded by Sports Illustrated.
It's very difficult to answer this seriously. When Chris Cote,
Did you just pull your shoulder muscle?
oh my God, I think he's actually in pain.
He's hurt himself.
That's going to really impact your bowling team.
Man, the
Workman's comp over here.
git is hard to play.
I think we knew that was going to happen in 2019 when it was bought by a place called Authentic Brands Group. And we were like, this is, okay, well, clearly they run Shaq's Super Bowl party. It's going to have Sports Illustrated swimsuits, Sports Illustrated, it all is like exactly what Chris Cote is.
Chris Cote is going, wait a minute.
But I do think, there are still people there who are and have been writing really great stuff. And so it's just, it makes me very sad. It's all, and there you go. Great juxtaposition here we've got going on.
Kind of saw ESPN try this with their restaurant chain, right? That didn't necessarily work.
But it's ESPN, which has a brand that Sports Illustrated no longer has.
But it always works. Restaurants, phones, sports gambling. There's no reason to doubt the mighty big letters.
Chris Cote has
I forgot radio and podcasting as well.
Chris Cote has faded.
He's pulled his shoulder out.
Well, and you went from air guitar wild thing. You were doing ballads in the middle there because you got tired.
You need a bass too sometimes, just nice and easy.
What is your mac and cheese
tired.
dilemma?
All right, so I went to a restaurant. I won't name names, and I ordered a meal with 2 sides like everyone does. And I got mashed potatoes. No, I didn't actually. I got vegetables and mac and cheese. Okay, so the mac and cheese, I'm really out of breath.
Yes, that was the point of what it is.
The mac and cheese comes in this little ramekin, and it is, I'm telling you, 1/4 filled up with mac and cheese. And I am not a confrontational person at a restaurant. Hold on.
Breathe.
Is he worked up because of the story?
I get real emotional talking about this. I'm not someone to say anything like, hey, can you, but whatever. I had a cool little thing with the waiter. So he comes up, and all I do is I just point at the thing, and I'm like, is this the normal? Like, is this how much usually comes? Not being confrontational, being very nice, and he hits me with a very snarky, yep. Oh. So I'm like, I look at my wife, and I'm just like, okay, no problem. He walks away. I'm like a little upset, but I'm not going to do anything else. Still out of breath. And then 5 minutes later, out of nowhere, I'm almost done with the whole meal at this point. He comes back over, doesn't even say anything, puts a ramekin down with more mac and cheese.
And how full was that ramekin?
That was filled to the top. Wow. And the question I asked folks, do you eat the mac and cheese? Because I'm telling you, it was put down very snarky. It was not like, sir, I was wrong. I'm sorry. It was more just like, here. And he kept it moving, and I was like, now, of course I ate it. But I'm asking you guys, would you eat the mac and cheese?
I'm going to tell you right now, Chris, this is exactly what happened. He walked into that kitchen. Can you believe the fatty at table 7 was complaining about how much mac and cheese? Oh, you know what you should do? Give him some more mac and cheese with some of that special sauce. Yeah, come on, boys.
That's what I said to my wife. I was like, what's worst case scenario here?
Let's get the special sauce going. Come on.
He put his thumb in it.
That's not the worst case scenario.
Definitely not
worse
case
than
scenario.
the thumb.
But I've worked in restaurants, and I've never seen anything like that people say happens in restaurants. So I believe people to be decent. So I don't believe that someone's actually going to put their thumb in my mac and cheese.
Yeah, that's not their thumb.
the other part of this that causes some shame for you and me, right, at our size.
Is 2 empty ramekins of mac and cheese?
It's the mac and cheese, and it's the size of us. What you made me think of is a friend of mine. This actually happened to a friend of mine who went in for a prostate exam, and they didn't tell him some things that can happen during a prostate exam.
Well, Thumb can go into that,
Hello.
too.
Hey.
And what happened that you don't want to happen to him, and the doctor sort of threw a towel at him. Why don't you clean yourself up?
Oh!
Wait, which one was it? I got questions.
I have 0 questions.